My dad got interested in cars in the 50s in England, where he grew up. He always had a love of English cars and a passion for things mechanical, and that's where I got it from. From as far as learning it, I learned it from him.
And for as long as I can remember, there were parts of cars laying around, and Toby and Dad would put them back together, and that's where it sort of started. People very often say, I could never work with my brother. There's just absolutely no way, we'd kill each other. But the reality is this is really all we've ever known. And we get along great. I respect him, he respects me, and it seems to work pretty well. So it's been a long time, it's been 24 years.
Most of the cars that are here are our customers' cars that we're working on for them. We also have a lot of cars that belong to people that maybe are my age or similar, and when they were little kids they saw these cars driving around and always wanted one and maybe couldn't have one back then, and now they finally can afford it, and they've bought the car of their dreams. And it is very satisfying to repair these older cars, more so than, for example, on a newer car where you exchange a part. It's fairly straightforward and the repair is made. On the older cars, there's some art to it.
3 or 4 times a week people just stop, and they're from the area, and they say, I've always wondered what this place was. And so we just talk to them and show them around, and it seems to, people now know if I'm somewhere else in Durham and the word Flying Circus comes up, they're like, oh, that's that really cool car place over on East Pettigrew Street. We've been here a long time, so we've seen a lot of changes. In the last 10 or 15 years, it's really been great. I mean, we've really just had no issues. I mean, there was periods of time where almost on a weekly basis we would expect something. But our customers probably don't worry as much anymore, 1, because the neighborhood is better, but 2, because we have a very, very, very secure electric fence. As what used to be old abandoned buildings are rehabbed and filled up, I think that it just makes the area more and more attractive. I had a customer not very long ago, and we were doing a little service to her car, and she said, I'm just going to go for a walk. And I remember thinking, oh, don't do that, that's not safe. And then I thought, you know what, it is. It really is okay. And seeing the houses be rehabbed, I don't know what the balance is between keeping people in their homes and rehabbing old houses. But I think it'd be a shame not to do it. I think it would be a shame. The crime obviously is an issue. I mean, but the only way it's going to get better is if we keep working to make the neighborhood better. Whether working to make the neighborhood better means rehabbing houses and people making different choices, I don't know. I don't. It's hard to say, because you're right. There's a balance, and I don't know how you find that balance. But it's a shame to stop doing what they're doing down here, just to keep rent down. It just doesn't make sense. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a solution. I know that I'm really, really glad that things are better than they were. I don't know what the cost is. The human cost. It is neat to do what we do, because a lot of times people bring us these old shells of cars, and there's a story behind it. There's a story behind every one. It was my mom's first car. She bought it brand new when she finished college, and I just can't part with it. But it's been sitting in my garage for 25 years, and I really want to do something with it. And the looks on their faces when they come back, and it's, maybe even not repainted a new interior, but it runs again, and they get to drive it, and they get to remember what it felt like, is it's what we do, and it's why we do it. And it feels really good, especially when this is not just part of their history, but it's part of our history, because these are the cars that we grew up with.
When I was a little kid in the early 70s, I'd see these cars driving around, and the sounds they made and the way they looked and the beautiful English countryside and little roads they were made for just were enchanting to me. And so, how did I get interested in cars? I don't know, I had a choice about it. It just seemed to be in my blood.